Good evening. I would like to call the Regional School District Board of Education Annual District Meeting to order, 7:05. We could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to take motions to elect a moderator. Rick? All right, that's a motion for Mr. Norm Hicks. Second by Chuck. Do we have any other nominations for moderator? Any other nominations? Mr. Hicks, please join us.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Yeah, later.
That's true. Well, good evening. Nice to be here. And we'll get started. First item on the agenda, the first item on my agenda is to call on Lucy Petrella, the board secretary, for reading the call of the meeting and the return of the call. Lucy?
Regional School District 13 of the state of Connecticut, Durham and Middlefield, warning of annual meeting and referendum vote. Notice is hereby given to all those eligible to vote in town meetings in the member towns of Durham and Middlefield that the annual meeting of Regional School District 13 of the state of Connecticut will be held on Monday, May 6th, 2024 at 7 p.m. in the Julian Thayer Auditorium at Coggins Regional High School, 135 Pickett Lane, Durham, Connecticut, for the following purpose: to present the proposed budget for the 2024-2025 fiscal year as prepared by the Regional School District 13 Board of Education. The moderator shall adjourn the annual meeting at its conclusion, and the budget shall be submitted to a vote upon the voting tabulators in the district's member towns of Durham and Middlefield on Tuesday, May 7th, 2024, in accordance with Section 10-51 of the Connecticut General Statutes, between the hours of 6 a.m. and 8 p.m. under the following heading: shall the proposed budget of $40,879,195 for the 2024-2025 fiscal year as prepared and presented by the Regional School District 13 Board of Education be approved. Those in favor shall vote yes. Those opposed shall vote no. Voting will be at the following polling places: Town of Durham, Durham Community Center, 144 Pickett Lane, Durham, Connecticut, 06422. Town of Middlefield, Middlefield Community Center, 405 Main Street, Middlefield, Connecticut, 06455. Copies of the proposed budget will be mailed to every postal patron in Durham and Middlefield. Dated April 3rd, 2024, Lindsay Dahlheimer, Chairman, Regional School District 13, Board of Education. The return of the call. Return is hereby made that the undersigned on the 24th day of April, 2024, caused to be posted on the public signpost in the towns of Durham and Middlefield a written warning by the Board of Education, and on the 24th day of April, 2024, caused to be published in the Hartford Courant, a newspaper having a circulation in the towns of Durham and Middlefield, warning of the annual meeting on the education budget to be held the 6th day of May, 2024, with the referendum vote on the education budget on the 7th day of May, 2024. Lindsay Dahlheimer, Chairman, Regional School District 13, Board of Education.
Thank you, Lucy. At this time, I will call on Board of Education Chair Lindsay Dahlheimer for the purpose of telling us about a presentation.
Thank you, Norm. Very thankful to have you here. I don't see them. I don't see the notes. They're not coming up. Hold on one second. No, it's technical difficulties. If not, I can just bring them up. Yeah. Never know with technology. We always have to pivot these days. Here before us, so the fiscal year 2025 Board of Education proposed budget. I wanted to welcome everyone here and here tonight and thank you for being here or listening online, and also to acknowledge our teachers on Teacher Appreciation Week. In looking at the Board of Education proposed budget, we have a gross budget of $40,879,195, which represents a 3.68% increase. The net budget at $39,297,814, which is a 2.9% increase. For those that you don't understand, the net budget represents the amount that is paid by the towns. The gross budget is the and that's right, that's the total expenditures. We are fortunate enough to be able to apply the interest and premium on bonding to lower that budget to 2.99%. In looking at the town assessments of Durham and Middlefield, we have Durham at 65.65% and Middlefield at 34.35%. The proposed budget for Durham on the net, $39,297,814, with Middlefield, oh no, it's proposed budget on either side. Budget allocation percentage for Durham, 25,779,015, with Middlefield at 13,498,799. When looking at these, the ECS grants for Durham, 3,293,232, and Middlefield, 2,100,359. The proposed net cost of the towns for 2024-2025, 22,505,783 for Durham, and 11,398,440 for Middlefield. In looking at this, the proposed increases to Durham are 1,046,837, with Middlefield having a reduction of 130,545. In taking a look at the enrollment change by town, with Durham losing 10 and Middlefield losing 27, it is flipped an allocation of 1% to Durham increase and Middlefield a 1% decrease. In looking at this chart for the per pupil expenditures, this shows for the past year budgets as well as the estimated per pupil for the upcoming budget year. We were able to keep this per pupil increase to only a $316 increase from the previous years. This slide comes from the next one, the potential annual decrease in PPE with estimated budget adjustments. In looking at these, you can see what it would take in order to lower our per pupil in the district. It's a question that's come up a lot, and a lot of people have asked, what would it take to lower per pupil down to the state average? As you can see with 500,000, the reduction would bring us to 25,889, which would only reduce it $364. At 1,500,000 would bring us to 25,159, lowering the per pupil by only 1,094. 3 million in a reduction in the budget would bring us to $24,065, which is a $2,188 reduction. And again, 5 million, which is 22,606, with a reduction of 3,647. As we previously stated in previous hearings and meetings, the 3 million can truly be realized with the closure of schools. So what's driving the increase in the 2025 budget? As we can see in this color-coded chart, we have an increase in salaries due to contractual benefits and salaries. The purchase services has been reduced by 75,517. There's been an increase in facility and grounds, an increase in the operating services at 265, 254, a reduction in the supplies budget at 238, 250, a reduction in the capital at 57, 331, a reduction in dues and fees at 15,912, and a reduction in the debt service at 375,213. Mitigation strategies. Many see in the news or social media, many districts across the state and the country have had large percentage budget increases this year. Many of these situations are at the end of the COVID grants that were allocated during the pandemic that have now run out. I'm proud to say, as a district, we did not use our funds for these positions or an increase in salaries that many of the districts are doing. Now what has happened is they're in a situation where they can't fund those positions due to the ARPA. Now it has to go back to the budget, which is why many districts you're seeing over 15 or 20%. We were able to reduce the debt service by 338,000, where a bond will fully be paid off. Our propane buses were budgeted under facility and grounds with a lease, and we were able to carry over the surplus on transportation and energy for electricity from last year. Salaries. First, we see a reduction at the elementary school level due to a class size. The second is an addition of an increase at the middle school level for grade 6 due to the size of the incoming 6th grade class. The athletic trainer is an addition to the budget. The position will be a full-time position in the district that will not only treat injuries at games, but will also be an integral part in the prevention of injuries by being consistently available for evaluation before practices and games, and always available to our student athletes. This position is offset by the reduction in purchase services that is currently spent on contracted trainers. An increase of the maintenance position is an addition to help support our facilities and ground supervisor. This position is also offset by the reduction in purchase services and will allow the district to have more consistent preventative maintenance as opposed to playing catch up. The 0.5 increase in multi-language learners represents the district need due to an increased caseload and required by the state. And finally, a 0.6 increase in the math department at Coginchug, which represents a need the Board of Education felt necessary to support our math students and their academic achievement needs. In capital reserve, the projects allocated in capital reserve include a replacement to our PA systems, which are a district replacement needed to ensure safety for staff and students. Ongoing glycol replacement, unanticipated repair and maintenance due to building systems or infrastructure that may go down. Maintenance upgrades to the athletic fields, which include varsity baseball and softball drainage, tennis court replacements, year 1 of 4, and the final appropriation of the turf replacement. And finally, the chiller and roof replacement capital fund for Strong School. This graph shows our current debt service for the district, showing we are below the level funded debt service. And with that, I'll hand it back over to our moderator. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Lindsay. At this time, we'll have questions, comments. I would ask that you keep your questions on point. That would be very helpful for our panel up front. If you have questions for specific persons, please address them through the moderator. And let us begin. Are there questions or comments regarding the budget? Please raise your hand, and I would ask that you would state your name for the in the microphone and come up front and speak. For the recorder who's not here, it's recorded and then transcribed later on, so that would be more than helpful. Questions, comments? Rick? Oh,
Richard Barnley, I'm a Durham resident. I'd like to thank, Lindsay and the Board of Education for, providing the referendum format for adopting this budget. It gives everybody a opportunity to participate in the process. I noticed, activity fees. Do I have an explanation?
You're looking at activity fees in the revenue?
On the back of this sheet here.
See where you're looking. Is it an expenditure or a revenue item you're asking for?
Okay, I'll rephrase it. Are we assessing a fee to students to participate in activities at the school?
No, we do not have a pay to play any
Okay.
longer.
Thank you. With regards to, in the print media, I saw that there's 240,000 illegal people here in the state of Connecticut. And so I would hope that the Board of Education would see to it when we're doing business with various firms and contractors that the employees are here in this country legally, preferably U.S. citizens. One area that's vulnerable are landscapers and painters. And in the construction industry, there's various points where they infiltrate the system. Football. Last year, the business manager gave us a cost of what we were assessing the out-of-town students that were participating in our football program. But apparently it wasn't the same as the figure of actually running the program. The comment was made to the effect that, you know, we had to buy the balls and certain other things anyway. I'm not in the business of subsidizing education in these other communities. They should pay the full board. Okay, full board. Yeah. So anyway, this is, the budget when it's adopted is fixed in like concrete. It's not like other systems that are not regional. We're stuck with the bill. And, you know, we did experience a few years ago, the governor had cutbacks to municipalities. And some municipalities, Glastonbury being one, and they're well heeled, made an assessment to the school system. We weren't able to do that in the regional system. We're handicapped. So it's not an equitable situation. So anyway, better sit down. I don't want to lose my seat.
I appreciate that, Rick. Are there further questions? Come forward.
So recently I heard that,
Name, please.
oh, I'm sorry, Susan Michael.
I'll try to pull that.
I know who you are, but our
Yeah, I'm
reporter
sorry.
doesn't know who you are.
I clearly haven't done this very often. Did you just need my name?
Downtown.
And town of Durham. So, you all know me. I even taught some of you. Our district's been known for science and outdoor ed for a long time. And I am concerned about the direction we're going.
And I recently heard, and I don't know if it's definite, that next year, sixth graders will have a half a year of science and then the other will be a half a year of social studies. And I'm thinking, if that's true, how do you expect to do that? How do you teach a year of science in a half a year? And what's going to happen, you know, if you're concerned about your scores, what is going to happen in eighth grade, just 3 years from now, when you looked at those CAP scores and those science scores? I've never been a test person, but that's what you're going to look at to judge how are our students doing in science. Also, since I'm here, when I retired, you hired a long-term sub, and then that's gone. And you're hiring me to do trail walks and stuff, which I think is great for the kids. But there's been a loss to science in this district. And this year, the curriculum that I wrote, I think is going away because you're integrating the science into the ELA. And that might be working wonderfully. And I'm not basing what I'm saying on what the teachers are doing, whatever. But what I know is that there were the 5 E's. And that was exploring and doing hands-on work and experimenting and explaining. And you do that when kids do science, not when they read science. They do it, and then they are motivated to write about it, to measure it, to see the math and the reason for the math and apply the math, not just do it on a worksheet. I don't think that's happening as much anymore as it was 2 years ago when I was there to help teachers, be another person in the classroom, try new things. Because elementary school teachers are trained differently. And to understand and have that confidence in science, I was there to help them, my position. And in my position, I could see where I was in the buildings. So I would see, oh, they need help filling water balloons and freezing the water balloons and filling them up with air so that they could compare the states of matter. Because the teachers didn't have time to do that, but I did. Or I could anticipate, or I bumped into people and said, how are things going? And they would tell me what they needed help with, and I'd be there to help them. I was a specialist, right? And I thought that I heard that position might be coming back, but I don't see it anywhere. So maybe next year, but I'm telling you, your science scores are going to start going down. The experiences that children are having in this district with science, I'm just talking science, is weakened. And I was on an airplane a year and a half ago, and I had the opportunity to watch a Bill Nye masterclass. And Bill Nye said, if you don't have kids experiencing and interested in science by the time they are 10 years old, they're not going to care about science. And I can tell you right now, as a citizen of this country and this planet, I am relying on my science content to be a good citizen, to understand climate change, to understand weather patterns, to understand why some places are burning and others are not, why my groundwater might be contaminated. Where should I buy a house? Should I be concerned about the groundwater? I mean, I could keep going on how science is applying to our lives. We need educated citizens. We need them to understand science. And that's my little speech on why I'm a little bit concerned. And if I'm right about what I heard about sixth grade, you need to rethink that really quick. And hopefully it's full time. Both social studies, because look at social studies too.
And so just to be clear on that, so in this year's budget, there is no reduction in science, but Sue, I completely see what you're saying, and we take your concerns very seriously, and stay tuned and see what the district has coming forward. But we really, we value you, and I know many of the kids and a long line of history of students and teachers do too, so thank you.
Anyone else with questions or comments? Okay, Rick.
I'll just announce if there's any online to raise their hand. We have a couple online, but I don't know if they're going to speak.
Oh, I was unaware of that.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I forgot to mention my favorite pet peeve. We need to get rid of football. We don't need to be subjecting students of the district to head injuries. Also, with regards to science teachers, we need them. I think we have our priorities backwards somewhat in the state of Connecticut, when the three highest paid people in the millions are the football coach and the basketball coaches at UConn. I think science takes a precedent over that. Thank you.
Anyone further with a question or comment for the board? Is there anyone online that might have a question or comment that would like to share?
I don't see any hands raised, but if you are trying to speak and want to, just try going ahead.
Going once? Going twice? I'm going to declare that this meeting has ended. And I would accept a motion to adjourn to referendum tomorrow. Rick has made that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor of adjourning the meeting until 6 a.m. tomorrow, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That has been declared, and I now declare that this meeting has been adjourned. And thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you all.